Chief Futurist at Futurist.com, researcher, keynote speaker, and author Nikolas Badminton joining us on Canada Now. It's Nick. Nick, it's good to have you back from a bit of a summer break. Now, we talk about scientists and how they have created embryos with developed brains. That's amazing.
Yeah, you know, this is the holy grail, as they're calling it, for the field of growing, growing bodies from stem cells. And they did this with mouse stem cells. So mouse stem cells were used to form the man-made embryos, bypassing the need for fertilization of an egg by a sperm. But then these have got a development of a forebrain, which is sort of like brand new. This is the researchers really taking a step into a whole new world. You know, what can come of this? You know, because they're saying maybe we can even do this in humans as well, and we can use that for like organ development. So, you know, we can work out, you know, like growing organs for people a little better, etc.
And that's a big thing right there. Like you talk about growing organs, scientists could grow correct synthetic human organs to save lives. I mean, think about all those people who have and still are waiting for organs for years, some dying in the process, and that'd be a thing of the past. This would help with healing organs as well.
You know, like any piece of research, this is a few years away from getting to that stage, but it's really interesting. And, you know, from a futurist perspective, you can play with these ideas of what you can really create.
Mm-hmm.
You know, can we create sentient human drone workers? So it's not about the robots taking over. It's about growing humans in the lab that just do our work for us.
Man.
You know, super soldiers. You know, maybe we can grow radio show hosts, Jeff.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you don't just find radio hosts growing on trees. You know, it's a special. Scientists it's gonna take decades and decades to really solve the mystery that is how to create a radio host, because we are just such a complicated beast. So
how do you grow a terrible sense of humor, Jeff? I don't know.
Well, some find it easier than others.
For sure.
You know, human pregnancies as well. Like, we could learn why human pregnancies fail during the earliest stages and how to prevent that from happening. Like, this is such, even at this point, like such a mysterious stage of human life. And all this could unlock just so much information on that front as well.
What amazes me about so much medical research that people are pushing the boundaries, especially in stem cell research, which is super controversial, and, you know, religious folk hate it, right? You know, we are as gods, and it's like, you shouldn't be doing this and whatever. But what it is, it's, you know, the decoding of who we are, how we develop, you know, all the way from like day one fertilization. And this isn't even fertilization, you know, in the same kind of way. This is creation.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah.
What is it? You know, God created Adam, created Eve from the rib of Adam, and then yada yada yada, and then you know, this is scientists in a lab creating, I don't know, a human embryo that potentially becomes a baby, eventually grows up, literally from stem cells. It could be you. Like, if you want to live forever, you could live forever. Every 40 or 50 years, they just create a new version of you, and your 40-year-old self grows you and raises you. Perpetuation. It's a bit like the film Moon, if you've ever seen that.
I'm thinking of Westworld, though it's a little bit different, because Westworld, they're not humans that are being recreated.
Right.
They are.
But in Moon, like, you've got Sam Rockwell, and actually, should I spoil this? I'm going to spoil it. If you want to watch the film Moon, which is an amazing film, like, turn off, like, close your ears
just for like a minute, and then come back.
Just for a minute, you know. So he finds out that he's actually, you know, one of these sentients, and you know, he gets replaced, goes to the basement, finds a bunch of dead sentients and a bunch of new sentients, you know, probably been grown, or maybe a robot, I'm not sure. But it's kind of interesting. But, you know, the cycle of life continues, but this time the scientists are in charge.
Yeah. And this could be an alternative to animals for testing as well. It's going to save animals.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is super interesting. I mean, this is interesting, you know, when you're thinking about research of any living being as well.
Yeah.
I mean, potentially, I was listening to a fascinating show on the CBC about the dodo. Maybe you can get some genetic material from the dodo and actually grow a new dodo and suddenly repopulate these extinct species. It's interesting to think about possibilities, right?
Yeah, and many have said that there is actually a Dodo hosting Canada Now from 1 to 3 here on Canada Talks. Chief Futurist at futurist.com, researcher, keynote speaker, author Nikolas Badminton. Nick, maybe next week, and between now and next week, the way we do it is like you and I, we text throughout the week, and we think we decide on what to talk about, and then 2 days later, you text me and you say, "Oh, we got to talk about this, Jeff," and I'm like, "Well, what about the thing we were going to talk about?" No, we got to talk about this. But as it stands right now, I think what we might be talking about is AI in terms of artwork, because your blood is boiling about something right now. So that might be our pick for what we talk about next week.
More human replacement, Jeff. Let's go.
Unbelievable. All right, we'll get to that next week. Nick, appreciate it, pal. Thank you.
Take care, Jeff.
All right, there is Nick Badminton.